Okay, let's dive into something that's going to completely change how you work with AI. We're talking about turning it from that frustrating tool you have to constantly babysit into a real, reliable partner, one that actually remembers what you want it to do.
So does this sound painfully familiar? You kick off a new chat, you lay out everything perfectly, your project, your brand voice, all the rules, and then, like 3 prompts in, the AI has forgotten it all. And you know what? The next morning, you have to do the exact same thing all over again. It's maddening, right? I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's like rehiring and retraining a brilliant but amnesiac intern every single morning. You have this super smart assistant, but it has zero memory. That's the biggest thing holding us back from being truly productive with these tools. But here's the twist. The problem isn't the AI, it's that we haven't actually given it a brain.
So what's actually going on here, technically? Well, it all comes down to something called the context window. The best way to picture it is like a small whiteboard. As you and the AI are chatting, that board fills up with text. And once it's full, to write something new, you have to erase something old. And guess what's usually the first thing to get wiped? Yep, your brilliant instructions from the very beginning. So you're not fighting a buggy AI, you're just running up against a basic system limitation.
And this is where everything changes. This is the big idea. The answer is to stop having these one-off, forgettable conversations. It's time to stop talking to the AI and start building it a brain.
Let's really break down the difference here. On one hand, you have the temporary chat. That's the old way. It's all about repetitive prompting, getting inconsistent results, and feeling like you're constantly managing that forgetful intern. But on the other hand, you have the permanent brain. This is a one-time setup that gives you reliable, solid output every time. You're not a manager anymore. You're an architect of a system.
So how do we build this brain? The tool is something called a Digital System Prompt Notebook, or SPN for short. And honestly, the easiest way to think about it is just as an employee handbook for your AI. I mean, think about it. You would never retrain a human employee every single morning, right? No, you'd give them a handbook to follow. We're doing the exact same thing here, but for our digital partner.
All right, so how do we actually make this happen? It sounds complex, but it's really not. It's a simple 5-step blueprint for building your AI's brain. Let's get into it.
The steps are pretty straightforward. First, you create the handbook. Second, you define the job description. Third, you write the rule book. Fourth, you provide some on-the-job training. And finally, step 5, you activate the brain. Now, all of these are important, but we're going to zoom in on 2 that are absolutely crucial: writing the rule book and providing that on-the-job training.
Okay, let's look at step 3, writing the rulebook. This is where you lay down the law for your AI. And the key here is how you phrase things. You need to use direct, imperative commands. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's an order. Think things like, maintain a positive and motivational tone at all times. Or, all content must be written at a 9th grade reading level. Use the active voice. Never give specific medical advice. These are the hard and fast rules, the non-negotiable guardrails for its behavior.
But look, telling an AI the rules is one thing. There's something even more powerful. You have to remember, at its core, an AI is a pattern-matching machine. So the single fastest way to get it on the right track is to show it what good looks like, not just tell it. And that's why step 4, well, it might just be the most critical part of this entire blueprint. And here's exactly what that looks like. In your handbook, you give it a perfect example. On the left, a simple input like, hey, write a social media post about our new trail mix. And on the right, you give it the perfect output, the exact tone, the emoji, the call to action, the hashtag, everything. You're basically giving it a perfect example to copy, a cognitive fingerprint to match. And doing this just once, man, it makes everything it creates from then on so much more reliable.
Okay, so you've built this amazing handbook. Now what? Activating it is the easiest part. Seriously, you start a new chat, you upload that document you created, and you give it one simple command to start. Use the attached document as your primary source of truth. That's it. From that moment on, the AI is using that document as its brain, so all your future prompts can be super short and to the point.
You know, this whole technique is about more than just saving a little time. It completely changes your role. You're moving beyond just writing prompts. You're becoming an architect.
This is the real payoff. Before, you were always reactive, right? You were basically a manager for an intern, always fighting the system's limits. But after you build this brain, you become proactive. You're not managing anymore. You are building a system. You stop fighting the environment and start designing it.
Now, with this new power comes a really important piece of responsibility.
This System Prompt Notebook, it's a powerful amplifier. It's going to execute what you tell it to do with incredible precision. So you've got to remember that fundamental rule of all computing: garbage in, garbage out. If you put bad instructions in, you'll get bad results out. As the architect, you are 100% accountable for what your AI produces.
So, the good news is you don't have to be stuck in that frustrating loop anymore. You literally have the blueprint right here to build a specialized expert, a totally reliable partner that's custom built for whatever you need. Your AI partner is waiting. The only question is, what are you going to build first?